If you've ever held your breath regarding a potential knee injury in the first quarter, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks, and welcome back to another episode of Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook as we get you set for the trading day ahead here. We had some pretty big earnings last night with Broadcom and CrowdStrike, and we're going to cover both of those here today. I've got a special guest for you here today on some fresh news. That should be fun. Stay tuned for that coming up in about 30 minutes. We've got Thursday here. We've got some more fun to be had. It is the penultimate day of the week. We're going to get you all set for it. Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook, the Thursday edition for June 4th, 2026, begins right now. Good morning and welcome back, folks. I hope that you all had a wonderful rest of your Wednesday. I know you Knick fans are buzzing. That's a good thing. It's great to see a whole bunch of returning faces here today. We got another exciting day to take care of here today. Smash up those likes and let's get ready to make some money here today. Solitary Soldier is going to be first. Good morning, everyone. When you have a minute, can you give me your feedback on TRFK? I don't know if I'm going to be able to. I have no idea what that stock is. I've never looked that up before, but we'll see if we can get a chance to take a look at it, and I'll do the best I can. If anyone else has anything, please help our friend Solitary Soldier out. Cameron, good morning. Happy Thursday to you, buddy. Welcome back. It's great to see you. Free Diddy tomorrow. Good morning. Welcome back. Francis, good morning. Welcome back. Peter, good morning. Welcome back. Robert, good morning. Welcome back. Derek, it's great to see you again as well. Welcome back. Kelly, welcome back. Hit the like for good luck. Absolutely. It's a free way to have good luck here today. Just hit that like button. There you go, Kelly. Yes, that girl. Good morning. Welcome back. It's great to see you. Edro, good morning. Welcome back. Cad Monkey, good morning. Wiss, good morning. We out here. I love it, Wiss. I love it. Let's go. Producer, thanks for all you do. Daniel, good morning. Welcome back. Ed, good morning. Welcome back. Let's pump it up. What song are you playing to pump yourself up, Ed? That's what I got to know. Cam, good morning. Michael Burry's persistent prediction finally coming true. I know. I almost can't. We pulled back. I thought pullbacks weren't allowed in this market. SanDisk is down. Micron is down. Should we pinch ourselves to make sure that this is real life? LOL. Let me know if you think we're going to get some more downside here today or if we get our customary bounce after a very slight dip. Matthew, good morning. Welcome back. Bernhard, good morning. Welcome back. Neville, good morning. Welcome back. Positive Trader, it's great to see you, Rich. Welcome back. Tyler, in all caps, how about them Knicks? Tyler, just be honest, man. This is a safe space here, so a little bit of honesty just right here. Were you sweating bullets when Brunson got his knee rolled onto and left the court? I was like, you got to be kidding me. This is why people can't have nice things. Game one, first quarter, and God, he came back and poured in 30. Let me know what you think about that, though. Just passing through, good morning. Captain Cloudy, good morning. Crispy Biscuit, good morning. Buffalo by Bicycle, good morning. Graf, good morning. JJ, good morning. Kenzo, good morning. Lance, good morning. It's good to see you again, Lance. And Kimosabi, good morning. All right, folks, let's go ahead and get started with our stock market today. All right, futures mixed here today. S&P futures down 0.37%. The Dow bucking the trend, that's up 0.83%. And the NASDAQ leading the way down 1.21% in the negative direction. Obviously, NASDAQ being affected here by Broadcom and CrowdStrike, where they're both trading down post their earnings. The other takeaway that I have here, just right on the surface of what's going on, the things that have really kind of been gangbusters and running wild to the upside, those seem to be what's pulling back today. Meanwhile, I take a look at the Dow. They don't have any of these crazy stocks that went 800% in a calendar year or anything like that, and that's up today. So to me, it seems like maybe a regression back to the mean. In any case, that's what the futures feel like today. Let's take a look at some cues from last session here. Let me go ahead and bring this up. Energy, consumer staples, and healthcare stocks registered the biggest gains on Wednesday, while information technology and financial equities closed the session lower. U.S. stock futures were mixed on Thursday after a lower close on Wednesday, as the NASDAQ 100 and S&P 500 advanced, but the Dow Jones rose. In a 215 to 208 vote, the Republican-controlled House passed a war powers resolution requiring President Trump to obtain congressional authorization before continuing military action or deploying troops against Iran. Notably, 4 Republicans joined Democrats to pass the measure, marking a rare bipartisan challenge to the president's military authority. Meanwhile, the 10-year Treasury bond yielded 4.49%, and the 2-year bond was at 4.07%. The CME Group's Fed Watch Tool projections show the market's pricing in a 96.2% likelihood that the Federal Reserve leaves the current interest rates unchanged during the June meeting. Now, I've got several stocks in focus here for you today. Some of them are going to be fairly obvious. We'll start with those two. The first one here is going to be CrowdStrike, and the ticker is CRWD. It was 9.98% lower in the pre-market on Thursday, despite beating estimates and announcing a 4-for-1 stock split. We're going to talk about that here coming up in just a sec. Broadcom is the next stock on our list. The ticker is AVGO, and that dropped 12.32% as it posted second quarter revenue of $22.19 billion, slightly below Wall Street expectations of $22.27 billion. However, the chipmaker reported adjusted earnings of $2.44 per share, which did top the analyst estimates of $2.40 per share. More on Broadcom coming up here shortly as well. The next stock on our list is going to be Jade Biosciences, and the ticker is JBIO. It dropped 6.2% after announcing the pricing of a public offering of 10 million shares of common stock at $15 per share. The company's gross proceeds of $150 million from the offering before deducting underwriting discounts, commissions, and other offering expenses. The next stock on our list is going to be Lululemon Athletica. The ticker is LULU, and it was 0.17% higher as analysts expected to report earnings of $1.67 per share on revenue of $2.43 billion after the closing bell today. The last stock on our list is going to be PVH Corp. Ticker is, yep, you guessed it, PVH. It slid 20.54% after the company released its third quarter earnings report and issued fourth quarter EPS guidance below analyst estimates. All right, here's our SPY chart, and it's pretty much been the same breakdown every morning until today. We've pulled back a little bit. So it looks like we're going to move down to this 20-day moving average. That value is at 745.74. The two key levels that I'm watching here today, 750. And in fact, with 750, which we've been watching for the past couple of days, check this out. Looks like in the pre-market here today, the SPY traded down to this level, almost kind of made an intraday double bottom at 750. This is great. This absolutely confirms that 750 is going to be one of the levels to watch here today. Giovanni, we're going to be leaning on you for some of those specific intraday spots. Don't be shy with those. You've been making some really good calls on that. In the larger picture here, a little bit of a break, not a bad thing. I understand when your account goes up every day and the stocks that you own go up every day. When it changes and some of them go down, it's like, oh. But the reality is that this is a good thing. We can't go up every day. Pulling back is going to be great. A pullback to the 20-day, probably not enough. We probably need an even bigger pullback than that, if I'm being honest. But a pullback to the 20-day might be a decent start. So today, we're going to look at the area of 745 to 746 as a key support level, as well as 750. We'll see if that gets tested again here after the open. I also am going to be looking for bounces here today. The market, when it looks weak after a pullback, sometimes these are very short-lived, so we might as well take a look and see if there's any type of bounce play that can be had here today. As far as the upside level, just in case, I had an upside level just in case we end up trading up. It's going to be the all-time high, 670.40. And then remember, the previous all-time high was 670.28. So we'll see if we end up taking that level out. or if we end up coming down and testing the 20-day and perhaps even something else beneath that. I mean, I'm looking at this chart right now. The 50-day is down at 711.79. We were just so extended. So a little bit of a pullback here, not a huge deal. Okay, let's take a look at some insights from analysts here. BlackRock maintains a positive stance on the U.S. stock market, largely fueled by the artificial intelligence sector and robust corporate performance. The investment firm explicitly states, quote, "We stay overweight U.S. equities on the AI theme and resilient earnings," end quote. This optimism is rooted in the expectations that the ongoing AI boom will continue lifting corporate earnings, which has, quote, "proven strong enough to help offset the drag from higher interest rates," end quote. Furthermore, BlackRock asserts that, quote, "contained damage to global growth from the Mideast conflict and strong earnings expectations, particularly in tech, keep us risk on," end quote. Regarding the broader U.S. economy, BlackRock anticipates steady conditions but acknowledges lingering monetary challenges. They expect economic data to reveal, quote, "modest but stable job gains, keeping the Federal Reserve focused on sticky inflation," end quote. Because of the persistent inflation and the market adjusting to higher rates, they remain underweight on long-term U.S. Treasuries. Overall, BlackRock views the U.S. economic landscape as resilient, prioritizing structural AI growth while navigating an environment characterized by higher interest rates. So risk on still, again, pullback here, not really a big deal, at least not yet. We'll see if it turns into something. I know somebody was asking if Michael Burry's predictions are going to come true here. I can't predict the future. I bought an 8-ball to do that. It doesn't even do that good of a job, so we'll have to just wait and see. Now, for our next story here, oh, you know what? Sorry, I skipped ahead there. As far as the economic events here, initial jobless claims for the week ending May 30th and the first quarter U.S. productivity report will be released at 8:30. That comes out here in 18 minutes. We also have Richmond Fed President Tom Barkin speaking at the same time. Producer, maybe you already have plans to do this. Maybe we can scroll those numbers at the bottom of the screen when they come out. We'll see how that all shakes out. Make sure we bring in those numbers when we can. All right, let's take a look at the Broadcom earnings. And actually, before we dive into the actual news itself, let's get ourselves prepped by taking a look at the chart. Here is the Broadcom chart. You can see we're actually trading down almost 15% down here at 408. So we had a huge run up. First, we had a nice run up, and then we traded sideways, and then we started to break out and have an even bigger run up here. Well, today's action, at least, basically takes us to the bottom end of that range. To me, Broadcom here, can this hold 400 today? If so, we might be okay, right? This might be just kind of a bounce after this. The report itself wasn't terrible. We're going to go into that here in a little bit, but the initial reaction here, the pullback takes us beneath the 20-day, beneath that round 400 number that we're talking about. We are looking at the 50-day being at 396.86. So we'll see if that ends up getting tested here as well. All right, let's take a look at the report here. Broadcom posted financial results for the second quarter of fiscal 2026 after the market closed yesterday. They reported second quarter revenue of $22.19 billion, which missed analyst estimates of $22.27 billion. The semiconductor company posted adjusted earnings of $2.44 per share for the quarter, beating analyst estimates of $2.40 per share, according to Benzinga Pro. A little bit. Revenue in the quarter was up 48% on a year-over-year basis, driven by accelerating growth in AI semiconductor revenue and strong operating leverage. Broadcom generated approximately $10.49 billion in cash from operations and $10.26 billion in free cash flow during the period. The company exited the quarter with approximately $19.63 billion in cash and cash equivalents. Quote, Q2 semiconductor revenue from AI of $10.8 billion grew 143% year over year, which was above our forecast, driven by increasing demand for custom AI accelerators and AI networking, end quote. That came from Hock Tan, president and CEO of Broadcom. He went on to say the momentum continues in Q3, and we expect semiconductor revenue from AI to grow over 200% year over year to $16 billion. So let me just pause right there. We're getting this pullback here in Broadcom. One of the reasons that I said if you can hold one of these levels, we might be interested in this. They're saying that they expect semiconductor revenue from AI to grow 200% year over year. So if you have a long-term view on this, perhaps this represents a buying opportunity, and that's what I want to get from the group here. Broadcom anticipates third quarter revenue of approximately $29.4 billion versus estimates of $28.54 billion. The company sees third quarter adjusted EBITDA at 68% of projected revenue. Broadcom's board approved a quarterly cash dividend of 65 cents per share payable on June 30th to shareholders of record as of June 22nd. The conference call, which I used Pro to get the transcript from, it was bullish but mixed. Management sounded highly confident on AI demand, backlog, and 2027 growth, but the market likely focused on the softer than hoped near-term setup and the lower gross margin outlook. Relative to the last quarter, the tone was even more aggressive and optimistic on long-term AI, but a bit less clear on some of the near-term margin optics and revenue quality. Now, diving into the Broadcom report a little bit more here, the next story here just made bold $100 billion AI revenue forecast for the next year, but does the street believe it? Is it fair to assume that? And part of me wonders if we're going to start seeing more of this as we move forward here. We'll see. We'll see how it shakes out here. Broadcom delivered blockbuster second quarter financial results driven by artificial intelligence demand, yet the stock tumbled overnight as investors balked at management's unchanged long-term forecast. During the earnings call, Broadcom president and CEO Hock Tan confirmed that the chipmaker's explosive momentum shows no signs of slowing down. For fiscal year 2026, the company expects to achieve AI semiconductor revenue of $56 billion, representing an approximate 180% increase from the previous year. Looking further ahead, Tan firmly backed the company's aggressive targets for the following fiscal year. Quote, "We reiterate our AI semiconductor revenue guidance to be in excess of $100 billion, end quote. And again, that came from Hock Tan. He emphasized his confidence in the trajectory, adding, quote, "I think you will easily see that 2027 will exceed very easily $100 billion in 2027, which is pretty much what we indicated last quarter, end quote. Driven by deep partnerships with hyperscalers like Alphabet, which is ticker GOOG and GOOGL, Meta, ticker META, OpenAI, and Anthropic, Broadcom is securing orders years in advance. Tan revealed a dramatic extension in customer commitments, noting that, quote, "Our visibility runs all the way to 2028 right now. Just 3 months ago, I can tell you visibility ran pretty much to 27. Today, it runs to 2028, end quote. The sheer volume of these multi-year commitments led JP Morgan analyst Harlan Sur to question the staggering magnitude of the company's forward order book. Sur asked management, quote, "Is it fair to assume that your 18-month backlog sits at $200 billion or better?" End quote. Tan responded by affirming that the company is on track to ship 10 gigawatts in 2027. Nothing has changed, back half loaded, which really provides an interesting trajectory into 2028. That was a quote from Hock Tan. Despite reporting a record second quarter revenue of $22.2 billion, which was up 48% year over year, and stellar AI bookings figures, Broadcom's stock dropped sharply following the announcement. Wall Street, having already priced in absolute perfection, and this is going to be key here, was hunting for an official guidance upgrade rather than a reiteration of past targets. By failing to lift the $100 billion floor for 2027, Broadcom fell victim to the tech sector's sky-high expectations, proving that even record-breaking AI growth sometimes isn't enough to satisfy hungry traders. And again, part of me wonders if this is going to kind of turn into something bigger than just this, right? Is this something that just kind of spreads into other stocks here? I'm very curious to see how Broadcom finishes up today. We've been in a buy the dip mentality for a long time. If the dip gets bought here, I think that would be par for the course, and I probably wouldn't worry about that too much. If we continue to sell off here, I wonder what's next. in the sell-off. Okay, one of the other stocks, let me go back to Pro here. We'll do the same thing we just did with Broadcom. One of the other big stocks that reported earnings yesterday was CrowdStrike. And this is what it looks like. You want to say stock ran into earnings? Yeah, this one absolutely ran into earnings. Now it's pulled back here. So it actually pulled back to where it found resistance before, right? It traded right up to the 673 level, came back in a little bit, and then rocketed through it all the way up to almost 800. Now we're pulling back to this area. This too, I think, puts the 20-day moving average in play here. I've got that value at 637.34. We're currently sitting at 637.12. So we'll see where we end up going here. But CrowdStrike also pulling back. They also announced a 4-for-1 stock split. So let's take a look at this report. How much time do we have? 10 minutes till the data and to our guest. All right. Let me share this CrowdStrike story here. Okay. CrowdStrike reported financial results for the first quarter of fiscal 2027 after the closing bell on Wednesday. CrowdStrike reported first quarter revenue of $1.39 billion, which beat analyst estimates of $1.36 billion, according to Benzinga Pro. The cybersecurity company posted adjusted earnings of $1.10 per share, which beat the estimates of $1.07 per share. Total revenue was up 26% year over year in the first quarter. Subscription revenue came in at $1.32 billion, also up 26% year over year. Annual recurring revenue increased 24% year over year to $5.51 billion after the company added $255.8 billion of net new ARR in the quarter. Net cash generated from operations was $590.9 million, and free cash flow came in at $468.5 million. CrowdStrike ended the period with $4.55 billion in cash and cash equivalents. Quote, in Q1, the words of cybersecurity and frontier AI collided. This was the mythos moment. CrowdStrike is AI security infrastructure critical to successful AI adoption, end quote. That was George Kurtz, founder and CEO of CrowdStrike. He went on to say, quote, our record Q1 net new ARR, QuiltWorks Coalition, and AI DR innovation are indicators of our own AI inflection point. We're seeing platform adoption from existing customers, new logo lands, and increased partner engagement, each giving me the conviction to significantly raise our fiscal year 2027 net new ARR guidance, end quote. CrowdStrike expects second quarter revenue of $1.436 billion to $1.442 billion versus estimates of $1.434 billion. The company anticipates second quarter adjusted earnings of $1.16 to $1.17 per share, and that's versus the estimate of $1.16 per share. CrowdStrike raised its fiscal 2027 revenue guidance from a range of $5.87 billion to $5.93 billion to a new range of $5.92 to $5.96 billion. And that was versus estimates of $5.8 billion. The company also raised its full-year adjusted earnings guidance from a range of $4.78 to $4.90 per share to a new range of $4.88 to $4.96 per share versus the estimate of $4.86. That's a big raise there. CrowdStrike also announced that its board approved a 4-for-1 stock split. Each shareholder at the close of business on June 25 will receive an additional 3 shares for every 1 share held. The stock is expected to begin trading on a split-adjusted basis on July 2nd. Now, I looked into the conference call for this one as well. The tone was very bullish. It had high conviction and very energetic. Management sounded excited, confident, and almost evangelistic about CrowdStrike's role in AI security, repeatedly framing the company as a foundational layer for AI adoption. Now, compare this to the last quarter. This call sounded more aggressive and more expansive in its framing. The prior quarter's tone was more about steady execution, while this quarter added a stronger sense of inflection, urgency, and market opportunity, especially around AI, AIDR, and the mythos moment. So again, very much like Broadcom here, reported a good quarter, beat and raise, and the guidance actually looks good. And they're basically saying that everything here is good. They sounded really bullish about this. So it just tells me that they still think that the future is quite bright, even if they are pulling back here today. I want to continue a little bit on the CrowdStrike report here. Let me get this all queued up. We're still good on time. Perfect. CrowdStrike Holdings delivered those record first quarter fiscal earnings and a beat and raise on Wednesday that we just talked about, driven by sheer enterprise panic as the frontier AI boom forces organizations to scramble for next generation cyber defense. I think this is a theme that we can probably track and continue to trade. During the conference call, founder and CEO George Kurtz painted a picture of the urgency echoing through corporate boardrooms. Quote, I can tell you, CEO after CEO who has called their CISOs on the weekend saying, is this thing really a problem? End quote. Kurtz noted, likening the surge in AI-generated threat vectors to a cybersecurity Y2K moment. Oh, man. Hopefully they're prepared. Describing the rapid adoption of generative tools as a mythos moment, Kurtz declared that the intersection of cybersecurity and frontier AI has triggered a momentum paradigm shift. Quote, for us, AI adoption is not a nice to have. It's an existential imperative across every geography and vertical, end quote. And that cemented the Falcon platform as a critical AI security infrastructure. Goes on to say, quote, now, any human or agent can be a cyber hacker or worse, wage serious cyber attacks that threaten enterprise survival, nation state continuity, and critical infrastructure operations, end quote. The company's financial metrics backed up the visionary rhetoric. CrowdStrike generated $1.39 billion in total revenue, which marked a 26% year-over-year increase, and achieved an adjusted profit of $1.10 per share, which comfortably beat the analyst consensus estimates. The annual recurring revenue, or ARR, crossed $5.51 billion, accelerated by a massive 250% sequential expansion into its new AI detection and response, AIDR, pipeline. Backed by incredible platform momentum, management significantly increased its full-year fiscal 2027 net new ARR guidance by more than $50 million, framing the adjustment as a clear reflection of the AI tailwind in action. However, prominent market commentator Jim Cramer stepped in to defend the parabolic growth trajectory of the cybersecurity giant, and signaling to all active traders that the temporary pullback represents a prime opportunity to buy the dip on an elite tech leader. So we're talking here about potentially buying the dip in some of these names that have pulled back and still reported good earnings. Cramer here saying he should do the same thing. Are you inverse Cramer? Are you with Cramer? You let me know. And by the way, I know the tweet is probably hard to see in the screen that I'm sharing here. Let me go ahead and drop the article into the chat here so you guys can go through that if you want. Actually, I can probably save you some time and just link you to the tweet as well. Let me go ahead and drop that in here. Perfect. He had said here, I'm going to read it to you just in case it's too small there. I'm not going to tell you that selling isn't exaggerated tonight in Broadcom and CrowdStrike. I will say that they were parabolic and the parabola stocks will be hurt as all of these deals get priced. Please watch the top of Mad Money tonight for some more info. Credit to his plug there. So again, I think the big question here, as far as CrowdStrike and Broadcom go, is this a buy the dip scenario? Do you want to buy the dip here in some of these names? And then furthermore, do you think that the pullback or the dip that we're seeing is being accelerated by a lot of these IPOs that are coming? We've been talking for weeks that investors and funds are going to need to free up capital to participate in some of the most anticipated IPOs that we've ever seen, whether it be SpaceX, Anthropic, or OpenAI. And so now that these earnings are out of the way, our investors and funds raising cash, we're also seeing Bitcoin getting pounded. You could apply the same logic to that as well. So we'll see if these are just a temporary bounce. Maybe it has something to do with the IPOs. We shall see. Okay. I think we are ready to go here. Let me go back to Pro. I know we normally do not have a guest on Thursday, but you folks are in luck today because we do have a guest. I am happy to bring on Vivakor President and CEO, James Ballengee. Let's go ahead and bring him on. James, thanks for joining us today. How are you doing?
Good, Ryan. How are you this morning?
I'm doing really good. Look, I saw that you guys posted some really exciting news today. We're going to get to that here. Thank you very much for joining us on a day where you release news here. But before we do that, for investors that might be new to Vivakor, can you start by telling us a little bit about your background?
Sure. I appreciate you guys squeezing me in on a Thursday when you don't usually have a guest.
Hey, we do it for the news. If you're going to report news and you're available, let's do it.
All right. Well, so my background, I'm a CPA, was my first career. Got in the midstream more years ago than I'd like to admit, and have built kind of two of these similar platforms across the oil and gas space with trucking, transportation, terminaling, and so we've had a couple of two exits for a total of almost $1 billion over the last from one in 2010, one in 15. And so just really, kind of been in this space for a long time and really enjoy it. And, now taking it to a public company.
Okay, fantastic. Look, today's announcement highlights a recurring one-year crude oil transaction representing approximately $108 million in annualized transaction value. Why is Vivakor uniquely positioned to secure and execute opportunities like this? And why is the transaction important for the company?
Well, the transaction is important as it gets us into the major Cushing market, and we're uniquely able to do this because of it's in support of our other assets, and we are able to scale this business through transactions such as these, and they're complementary to our other businesses. So the key to having control of the supply is you get to control where the logistics go, and then that way make sure that we control the value chain across all the different segments that we have.
Okay, and how does Vivakor's supply and trading fit with the company's broader transportation, terminaling, storage, and logistics assets?
Well, I kind of look at the marketing or the VST platform as the engine that's going to drive the growth and drive the efficiencies of our business. Like I said, when you control the barrels, when you actually buy the barrel, then you control where the logistics happen. And since we have the ability to provide logistics across crude, pipelines, and terminaling, that lets us almost like clip a coupon at each point where every time we're touching that oil with one of our assets, we're adding value for Vivakor. And also, it's very much a relationship business, and the customers that we're providing transportation services for are also in supply and trading. So we're providing additional stickiness for our customers, as well as we're providing multiple values for the customer on different points.
Okay, that sounds good. Markets often reward execution. So what gives you the greatest confidence today that the company is on the right path? And how does the advancement of the Houston Remediation Processing Center fit into that broader strategy?
Well, I think that the RPC is a new addition for me in this sector, in that we're processing waste and able to pull the crude out of that and reuse it. And so the sustainability of that. And also it's a great fit in that, once again, the customers that need those services that have tank bottoms or, solids that have crude in them are the customers that we're dealing with on the marketing side, and also on the other, so we're providing, we're providing another value to that customer. And the goal is that we have those type centers in all the major basins, and that we are able to, and then also it will feed our other segments, in that Vivakor Supply and Trading will sell the hydrocarbons that come off of the RPC. We'll transport them through our assets, and we'll, like I said, just once again, we're just trying to create synergies across the whole value chain, so that we are and positioned to take advantage of all those opportunities.
Okay, and as Vivakor continues to grow, what makes the company's business model different from a traditional transportation, terminaling, or trading business?
Typically, you're going to have people that are in one segment of or the other of those. Ours is we're able to like I said, stretch across all those different segments, and the you know the scale, the scale, and that gives us the scalability and make to build and the repeatability of these transactions as well. So I think that the RPC is key, and in that it, like I said, it feeds other parts of the business as well as just providing that service to our customers to take their problems. And really, that's what we try to do is we try to deal with what the problems of the customer are and provide that solution, whichever method of whether it's transportation, whether it's cleaning up their product, provide those any services customers need across that.
Okay, and just kind of wrapping this up here, as investors look at Vivakor today, what is the key takeaway that you want them to understand?
I think that we're in our focus right now is on execution of our concepts across that and growing the business in um, you know a, a way that we don't stretch out too far, but we're doing a good job of getting hitting these points where excuse me, we're touching these barrels as many times as we can, and where we are adding to the value chain, but also clipping a coupon along that chain every time we make a stop. So I think that I want them to know that we're focused on the execution of the business, and now we've we've got capital, and we're ready to move forward and to grow this to the next level.
Okay, awesome. So that sounds good. Look, is there anything else that maybe we didn't cover here that you wanted to talk about?
No, I think that the like I said, the key is that we're selling value to our customers, and that we want to provide that in any way possible, and we can be nimble across across those various segments. Also, that we have the capability to provide services across all the major basins, so that one customer that has production in North Dakota may have it in Texas, and we're available to them in any of those basins to provide those services.
Okay, great. Look, thanks so much for taking the time today, James. I really
You, Ryan.
appreciate it. I'm sorry?
I said thank you. I appreciate it very much for getting us on.
Yeah, no problem. And I look forward to more updates from you in the future as well.
Absolutely. We're happy to stay in touch.
All right. Sounds good. That is James Ballengee, President and CEO of Vivakor. The ticker is VIVK on the NASDAQ. So good stuff there from James. Really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you, Buffalo by Bicycle. Wiss, sorry, I actually didn't see your question until right now. Ryan, are they currently acting on their 40 million offering? I'm sorry, I didn't see it till right now. I would have asked. But the other thing, he did say that they've got money and they're ready to go here. So sorry, I got to that question there a little bit late, Wiss. All right. I got one more piece of news for you here today that I want to cover. Then we can take a look at some charts. We can take a look at some stocks, and we can also break down the movers for us. Let me go ahead and add this back here. What I'm looking, or the next story here, this one on the entire AI thing. After Dell, the Taiwan Semiconductor CEO issues a stark warning on the AI capacity constraints and says for a very long time, also hinted at a potential price spike. So we'll see. We'll see how this ends up shaking out here. Let me tell you what's going on here, though. The CEO of Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing, ticker TSM, CC Wei, issued a warning over manufacturing capacity constraints and signaled openness to future price hikes. During the Thursday's pre-market session, the stock did fall about 2%. Wei's comments were made during Taiwan Semiconductor's annual shareholder meeting in Hsinchu, Taiwan on Thursday, and that was reported by Reuters. Despite the rising cost of components, he noted that customers remain positive about the future of artificial intelligence, and that seems par for the course. On the topic of potential price increases, we stated, quote, "I'd like to do that. We still need to make money, end quote. He emphasized that the company has no intention of suddenly raising prices and remains focused on long-term sustainable growth. Quote, we're not that kind of company, end quote. We also pointed out the growing use of AI models in consumer, enterprise, and sovereign AI applications. He said growing demand is increasing the need for computing power in advanced semiconductor chips, but acknowledged that production capacity remains limited despite the company's efforts to keep up. However, the Taiwanese company said that fully satisfying U.S. customers through domestic production will take, quote, a very long time, end quote, due to those capacity constraints. TSMC's CEO remarks came just days after a report that the company is considering raising prices for its advanced 3-nanometer chips by 15% in the second half of 2026, with a further 10% increase potentially planned for 2027. TSMC's potential price increase could impact the margins of companies like NVIDIA and Broadcom. However, it's important to note that the reason behind the hike is the demand for advanced AI chips outpacing available manufacturing capacity, not a slowdown in its business. This is a crucial factor for investors assessing the AI spending boom. Let me know what you think on that, if that's a good or a bad thing. Earlier, Dell Technologies, ticker DELL, said major AI customers are signing multi-year server deals despite uncertain pricing, prioritizing access to computing power as AI demand continues to outpace supply. Chief Operating Officer Jeff Clark said security capacity has become more important than negotiating costs. As reported in May, TSMC is also focusing on energy efficiency in chip development due to the rising electricity demand from AI. The company aims to achieve 30% power savings to combat the AI energy crisis. Meanwhile, a report last month suggested that Apple, ticker AAPL, is exploring U.S. chip production along with Intel, ticker INTC, and Samsung Electronics, ticker SSNLF. And they are doing this to reduce the reliance on Taiwan Semiconductor. However, concerns about reliability and scalability of non-Taiwan semiconductor production technologies still persist to this day. So we'll see if they do raise the price of some of this, and we'll see if that maybe helps kind of contribute to the topping of some of these AI names, or maybe I shouldn't even say that because that'll get me in trouble. Maybe the slowing momentum of some of these AI names. We'll see. Okay. Let's go back to Pro here. Oh, you know what, producer? Let's actually do street tweets here real quick because I want to tie some of this stuff together. Street tweets right now. All right, this one here, it comes from the Kobisi letter. Bitcoin sell-off has now accelerated and it's dropped below 63,000 for the first time since February 24th. That is a 4-month low. Really quick check-in here. The futures has recaptured 6,300. Gone to 63,000, excuse me. Current futures price for Bitcoin, 63,705 right now. Now, over 1.1 billion worth of leveraged crypto positions have been liquidated over the past 24 hours. So again, I ask you folks, are people liquidating some of their gains? Are they, maybe I shouldn't say it, maybe I should phrase it a different way. Are traders realizing some of their unrealized gains in Bitcoin in order to raise cash to participate in some of these huge IPOs that are coming up, namely SpaceX, which is going to be the next one on the list? We're seeing that with stocks in the equity market. Now we're seeing that here with Bitcoin. Makes me wonder if this is the raising of capital that we all kind of anticipated. You'll have to let me know what you folks think on that. And I think perhaps the important follow-up question to this is there more raising of cash to go? We'll see. We shall see. All right, let's get back to Pro here. Boy, we got 16 minutes. I guess I underprepared here today. How about that? Sorry for not having more ready for you. You know what that means, though? It means ticker time. That means we're going to do ticker time here for longer than we normally do. Okay, I also did want to check out the data print. Producer, I saw that you threw that there in the chat. Really appreciate that. Just to kind of go back over this. We did get the Challenger job cuts. That was earlier this morning. But the data print that we were looking for, U.S. non-farm productivity quarter over quarter, Q1 was 0.3 versus the 0.8 estimate. Initial jobless claims 225 versus 214. Unit labor costs quarter over quarter for Q1 1.8% versus the 2.3% estimate. The prior read was 4.4%. Initial jobless claims revision from 215 to 212. Continuing jobless claims 1777 versus 1780. And then I think this is the Fed's, and this was Barkin who was commenting at the same time. Fed's Barkin says, not leaning towards overly focusing on inflation rates or employment. Bond yields are still in a reasonable zone, and wondering if the supply-demand balance in long-term treasury markets has shifted due to U.S. supply. Businesses today are much more confident about their ability to raise consumer prices to recoup costs and don't feel like today is the time for strong forward guidance. Okay. All right, well, that takes care of all of the data. All right, let's dive into some tickers here. What is it that you folks want to see? Let's take a look here. Okay, Crispy Biscuit. The first one that I see here is Roller. That was one of our movers. That's ripping here today, huh? Up 15%. Boy, it was up a lot more than that. Things spiked above 580 here. Let me see what the news was on this, or if there was even news. High Roller, this is today. High Roller Technologies rolls out a free-to-trade prediction platform and a $25 million roller challenge ahead of the official prediction markets product release. Probably have to go through this PR a little bit more. This one going to be in play though today. The prediction market stuff, that's key. That seems to be driving a lot of folks. I still don't know what I feel about it. I don't know that I like this stock necessarily, maybe just for a possible trade here today. Let me zoom in a little bit and see what our action was like. Yeah, so we basically just a regressive bound. Yeah, I don't know. To me, I would really want this to get back above 650, I feel like. What's our VWAP at? VWAP at 667. All right, 650, 667. That makes sense. That makes sense on Roller. But okay, good stuff. I hadn't actually checked out the movers, so that's perfect. Okay, it looks like I had a little internet hiccup there. It had to be me. I'm the only one live here. Bob saying VIVK down 32% on the back of that news. I didn't even look at it. Let's see what happened here. Oh my goodness. So it traded up and immediately pulled back and then went lower. Giving up its gains. It was trading higher if the company secured that's the crude oil transaction that he talked about. Yeah, I didn't. Obviously, I'm not going to ask him about. I don't think he knows why the stock is doing this. Definitely watch this today. That's shocking. That is shocking. Okay, what else do you folks want to see here today? Let me see if I see any other tickers out there. Neville wants to take a look at IBM. All right, here is your IBM chart. Now, okay, so I'm going to start with the long-term chart because this is something that we have discussed quite a bit in Happy Hour, and this is like a pattern for IBM here that I want to see if this holds up. So we popped here. We're back to the start or potential start of our downward trend here on IBM. Part of me wonders if this is even going to happen with the quantum computing and AI stuff that's going on right now. But nonetheless, you can see exactly how we kind of generated this. IBM used to steep moves up, longer, more pronounced moves sideways or down, followed by a steep move up, then a move down, and wash, rinse, repeat. Today, we're actually down, just about 1% here today. To me, I think we really want to break out of 325 here. This is, I know we've tried once and we weren't really able to hold it. This not really the greatest floating island setup. These are not prices that are like new all-time highs. These are prices that we've actually visited before. We ended up not holding that. We kind of came back in. Would really like this to hold probably 300. That round number is going to come into play here. But furthermore, this trend line here is not like an actual trend line connecting any highs. This is kind of just showing the expected movement here. So I would really want this to kind of make its move above 330, 340 here to kind of invalidate this. It's going to have to happen for more than just a day or two as well. But this is IBM. What a reversal. I mean, this stock, this was May 13th. This was $214. It went $120 in just like 2 weeks. Just crazy movement there for IBM. Think this probably needs a break though. Neville, what do you think on IBM? You have a long, I can't remember if we've talked about your trade plan before. Let me know. Do you have a long-term view here on IBM? Is this something you're looking to invest in or just simply trade around? You'll have to let me know on that. Good morning, Nikhil, and anyone else that I might have missed. Knights Lance, good morning. Cam says STI, which is a mover. Let's take a look at that. We are still going to break down the movers like we traditionally do with 13 when he shows up here. But we can take a look at some of these charts that you folks are interested in early since we've got time here today. Wow, nice move, right? So looks like we had the nice little impulse move sideways and then a second move higher here. Let's take a look and see what the news was. Solidon Technologies unveils patented extreme climate battery technology targeting low Earth orbit-based artificial intelligence data centers, the lunar economy in space. Okay, well, immediately we can determine why this is ripping so much on this headline. I would like to dive into the PR a little bit more and see if we can figure out what some of the plans are, maybe read between the lines, if you will. But man, this is really good timing for this. This is a huge move. Stock is up 17 points to $22. Good Lord. Let's see what the short interest is on this. God, man, it's not even big. 2.4% one day to cover. I would not even factor that in here. Low float on average, it trades 70,000 shares. We've done 42 million here today. So huge runner. Let's take a look at the chart here and see what we got. Let's zoom into this. You know what? Let me just go to an hourly chart. Take a look at that. Okay, so we popped. What day was this? Was back in October, huh? So Friday, October 10th. So these levels I would definitely pay attention to here today. 25, which we did not quite print yet. You might find some support if the stock pulls back to the $16, $17 level here. Let's take a look at this. See what else is in here. Yeah, it looks like it found resistance there at 18.5. That also was previous support back in here. So I don't know. I think 18.5, maybe 17, 16 to 17, and then 18.5. Possible bounce levels for this. But man, stock's up 330% on the back of that news. That's just a monster move there for STI. Monster move there for STI. Billy, the human chat scanner locked in here short 22.80. Okay. Oh my gosh, you're up almost over a point there. Okay. STI is a mover. Brandon wants to take a look at Voyager. You know what? We briefly took a look at Voyager last year. This was that space IPO that I was interested in. Ended up taking a loss on this thing as it really just kind of bottomed out. I think the bottom is probably in here at this point. I mean, that's probably not breaking news considering we've really, doubled? Yeah, almost tripled off of the bottom here. I don't really want to call this an inverse head and shoulders, although it kind of gives me those vibes. But with everything going on, the space halo effect that we've been talking about, I think that's one of the reasons why you're seeing the move here in Voyager. A little bit of a pullback today off of the kind of the meteoric rise that it's had recently. Wouldn't really worry about that too much. And yesterday we had an outperform $60 price target from Wedbush. What are the other price targets on that? Let me take a look here real quick and see what we had there. So we got that 60 from Wedbush. We also have a 60 from Jefferies. We have a 44 from Citigroup and a 39 from JP Morgan. We'll see if any of that gets re-rated here. Does have some short interest, and it's been climbing since the IPO. Almost 17% short float and 3.5 days to cover thereabouts. This one's tied to SpaceX and Starship. So I think that this is at least worth watching here up to the SpaceX IPO. I would imagine this is going to trade with those. So if SpaceX, and that gives a lift to some of the other space names. This one's going to go with it. Okay. Yeah, that dog. Well, so here's the thing, Yassine. It was a dog on the IPO. It got worse, but I think that might be over here, right? I think that might be over. Let's see if we can get above 50 and maybe build above 50. That I think would be what I would like to see here. Okay. We did take a look at Broadcom, Richard. I guess we can see if that has shaken out at all here in the pre-market. So that basically came down. Just to reiterate here, we've lost the 20 in this pullback. It was on a huge run higher than that, so it's not really anything to necessarily panic about. The thought here in terms of the key levels are whether or not it can hold 400. We do have the 50-day not far under 400 here, 396.84. That's coming up to maybe catch that and provide some additional support if Broadcom can do that. But pullback here, probably not the end of the world. They sounded bullish. The conference call sounded bullish. Pretty good guide going forward. So I don't know. You let me know if this is a buy the dip. That's what I'm trying to figure out here. Is Broadcom a buy the dip? Bob, you want to take a look at Ondas? Boy, that was ugly, man. Drones got hit big yesterday. And as far as the Ondas chart goes, disappointing to cough up the trend line and the $12 key level. Shout out to Zach. You were talking about this during the session, reminding everyone during the session that this is going to be one of the key levels. Ondas just kept getting pounded. This is a sector-wide thing. Doesn't change the long-term plan. Next here, really want to hold this 1050-ish area. Volume point of control down there at 1033. Probably will fill this gap, but wouldn't want to necessarily reverse from here. I still don't think the drone theme is over. I just think yesterday was a little bit of a day where things kind of took a rest and came back in a little bit. Izzy, Amazon chart. You got it. AMZN. All right, here you go. Excuse me. Amazon up 1.3% here today. And this also got hit yesterday. It looks as if it's trying to hold the 50-day moving average. So I would absolutely want to see this 50 hold up again here today. The market has kind of come off some of its pre-market lows, so maybe we're firming up for a little bit more of a bullish day here today. Maybe the bearish activity just took place in the overnight and the morning session. But Izzy, to me, this one's an easy one today. I know sometimes with Amazon, we kind of have to get a little creative looking for these spots. This one's an easy one. Can we hold 250 and a half? Can we hold the 50-day? If not, we're probably coming back in. And actually, that 50-day is right around a previous resistance area. I got to think that this is going to be pretty sticky and should provide some pretty good support, even if you're going to do one of your intraday trades now. As far as the next level down, I really think that the 238, 238, because by then the 100-day will creep up, and then we're going to be talking about the 200-day. Let's see where it is at that point. I think you get a bounce here, Izzy. I'll make the call right now. I think you get a bounce from the 50-day on Amazon. Let me know what you think, though. Look for MU to gap up in the morning. Easy trade on the dip. Okay, so Yassine talking about Micron here. So Micron's pulling back. Micron back down 6%. Really no news, just pulling back a little bit here. Perhaps maybe on the Broadcom earnings. So Yassine here saying this is an easy buy the dip and then it'll gap up tomorrow. Maybe you're right on that. Let me know what you folks think on Micron. Lion, you have to be doing this. Micron may give us a great rebound trade. Okay, so it looks like you guys are in the buy the dip mentality here on Micron. Let's see where we pulled back down to. Actually, we did hold this gap, didn't we? Bottom end of this candle, lows 109.50. I think we went into the 108s, didn't we? Yeah, we actually dipped beneath 1,000, and it kind of held there. This should be wild here today. I see why you guys are looking at this here today. We'll see if we fill this gap in the regular session. Gap fills down to about 980, maybe 975. See if it holds 1,000. See if it holds the gap. Look, I know some of you folks are long. I'm not going against you. I think a pullback in this just for a little bit, like a temporary pullback. Don't think it's the end of the world on this one. In fact, let's take a look at SanDisk. I know you guys are focusing a little bit more on Micron, which is fine, but let's take a look and see how SanDisk is doing. So this is down a little bit less. And it is also up off its low. So these memory stocks look like they're all just kind of trading together. This thing's still 300 points away from its moving average. Oh, that's absolutely wild. Absolutely wild. Okay. Let's see. Steve, it's a good question. Hi, Ryan. What happens to the space stocks after the SpaceX IPO week of June 15th? So, Steve, I'm going to give you my very, very specific thought on what I think is going to happen. Now, please don't trade off of this because I could be completely wrong here. But you asked me what I thought, and I'm going to tell you what I think. I think we are seeing the SpaceX halo effect. 13 has talked about that at great length here. We've covered it on multiple sessions here today. I completely agree with the premise. I think that we're seeing that. I also would not be shocked if the effect maybe lasted a little bit, maybe like a day or two, maybe even a full week after the IPO. I think like there's a lot built up here. So I don't think we're necessarily going to get a sell the news event on like the day of the IPO or the day after. I think there will be, I hesitate to use the word euphoria, but that's kind of the word that I want to use. I think that there will be good vibes shortly after, but I do think some of these pull back. I go back to the chart that I showed you yesterday about all of the big IPOs. And I guess big is a relative term because they weren't all on there. But all of the big IPOs at some point during the first year had a massive drawdown. I think the smallest number on that chart was like 34%. Some were upwards of 80%. So I would expect a drawdown after the IPO. But I think, we were just kind of looking at the Voyager chart here, which is in the space theme. I don't think you'll get kind of as slow of a move here on Voyager. This is not nearly as popular as SpaceX, but I do think you probably get a little bit of a pullback. And I just can't tell you exactly when that's going to happen after the IPO. This is the $64,000 question, and I would love to get opinions from the group on what you think of is going to happen here or how long some of these pullbacks might take to materialize. All right. It's 9 o'clock. It's pre-market pulse time. Let's go ahead and welcome on 13. Good morning, 13. How you doing today?
Good morning. How are you? How's everybody in the chat? What's going on?
I'm doing really good. Look, I'm just going to start right off here. I had a question here from one of the viewers. I don't know if you heard it. I'm actually not sure exactly when you joined there. But I had a question here from one of the viewers asking what I think is going to happen after the SpaceX IPO. Do you have any thought on that? Look, I preface mine by saying I'm going to give you a specific thought, and it very well might be wrong. So I'm not trying to put you in a corner here, but do you have any thought on what we might see after the IPO?
I think that we're going to have a lot of excitement in the lead up to that. There are some companies that hold SpaceX shares privately that are not bound to any lockup period. So there's a thought that I have that we could see, some selling there. I don't think we'll see a complete exit from those companies. Maybe EchoStar, but I don't know. I think that we'll see some selling there, but there is a more of a staggered lockup period for SpaceX. So that if there's people that are holding those shares that are part of that lockup period, they can sell in tranches so that it doesn't completely hammer down the stock all at one go. You also have them trying to get into the indexes pretty quickly here, with the indexes kind of changing the rules about how soon some of these large companies can get in to the indexes. Usually there's like a period where the market tries to find a fair value, and there's an allocation that these ETFs can prepare for. But if we do that right away, then it kind of risks picking up too much of one company, and we could see an index have way too many shares. So there could be some volatility with that, but I think initially when we do have that SpaceX IPO, we could see I think we'll see some volatility, some back and forth, but ultimately I think it goes higher.
Okay, all right, that was pretty good prediction too.
I do think there'll be some selling, but just not a large amount.
Okay. Okay. Anything else you want to cover, or should we just knock out the movers here?
Yeah, actually, it's funny because one of the big movers is actually a space battery play.
Okay, let's do it. Let's get right to it here. STI.
Yep.
STI, actually, I had some extra time here this morning, so we took a look at this. So I'll just kind of set the table here and then let you go off on this. Again, the news here, Sullivan Technology launches a patented extreme climate battery technology for low Earth orbit-based AI data centers. Pretty good timing, huh, 13?
Oh, yeah.
It sure looks like it here. Percent of float short, again, very small, 2.4%, 1 day to cover. Float on this thing, 2.46 million. Here you go. What do you got for us, 13?
So, if you want to just cut through all of the really big words, basically what this comes down to is they're making a UPS for data centers in space. That's basically what it is. It's not going to completely run the data centers. It's if there's like an eclipse or it has to travel on the dark, the night side of the Earth, or if it's on the moon, the dark side of the moon. So it's to keep those data centers going in the event that they don't have solar power. The company, unfortunately, does not have any revenue, and it has no cash. So I would think that this is going to be subject to some kind of capital raise at some point soon here. They do have some agreements that they signed. I don't think that we're seeing some of that, any of that contract money come through yet. I might be wrong about that, but we need another earnings report or some kind of update. I think they just had one at an earnings report. So everything, yes, they just had one on May 21st. So everything that they've got on their financials is pretty up to date. So I think that this is kind of at risk of a capital raise here. Just be careful with this one if you're going to trade it. Looks like there's going to be resistance if we manage to get through 22. Gosh, I did have some resistance levels marked off. We've since broken through those, and it looks to me like we could be looking at some significantly higher prices still if we do get that break over 22 that leads to higher prints in 24. I would think we see maybe somewhere between 23 and 24. That could be a resistance area. We managed to get through that 28 and then 34. Okay,
good stuff there. STI. Brian wants to know if they sell Subarus.
Hey, you know what? If there's an electric Subaru, it's going to be an STI. I don't think it'll be a WRX though.
All right. Next here is going to be Fox, FOXX, Fox Development Holdings. Stock ripped in the after hours yesterday. Looks like it's coming in a little bit today. I didn't look at this one. Let me see if there was anything on this. All right. So yesterday we had a rumor right before the close. Watching Fox Development Holdings, traders are circulating an unconfirmed rumor that the company has been added to the Qualcomm Partner Network Discovery. Okay, so that's a rumor, and I don't see anything here confirming that. And when I look at the price action, so we traded up in the after hours, and we've kind of come in since then. It seems like this is the rumor being priced in. Anyway, that's what I see here for the news. Quick check here at the short interest, 0.27% of the float shorted, 1.82 days to cover. On average, stock trades 2.74 million. On average, the stock trades 264,000 shares per day. It's traded over 8 million today versus a float of 2.7 million. Did you cover this one, 13? Did you look at this at all?
I didn't go into the news, but I did look at this one. I thought it was because I should have looked a little bit further down, but I thought this was kind of going on relative volume because I looked at the chart and I was like, oh, look at that volume spiked yesterday, and we're running today. Then I looked and I saw that June 4th, there was no news today. I should have looked at what was happening yesterday, that headline there. But that seems to be what it's running on, that they this unconfirmed rumor that they've been added to the Qualcomm Partner Directory. And it's, it makes sense because this is a consumer electronics company. They build smartphones and laptops and tablets, wearables, things like that. So it makes sense if they were added. Still don't have confirmation if that's the case. The company does have revenue, but it needs cash and it's not profitable. So it's keep that in mind as you're trading this. It is a little bit of a struggle for this right now, but see how that goes. As far as the chart goes, 5 minutes gives me I had VWAP as resistance. Now it's support. So VWAP support, resistance to me at this stage looks like 480. We kind of come up there and tried to break past it. Maybe 475 would be a more accurate level to look at. But
yeah,
475, 480, I think that's the next resistance. If we get through that, we could see the others. We should see like 510.
Okay. All right. Good breakdown there. Good breakdown. FOXX. Did you have anything else on your list?
No. We can do anything else live.
Well, let me skip ahead to roller then, because I know we got asked about this earlier. It looks like several of you folks are actually trading this. Let's take another look here at ROLR. This is High Roller Technologies. They actually traded this one before. High Roller Technology shares are trading higher after the company announced the launch of its free-to-trade prediction platform and the 25 million Roller Challenge. So this is interesting price action here because we had that initial impulse move right up to that 850. We actually peaked above at 856, it looks like. Retraced like 80% of it, and we came right back onto the same spot. So currently we're sitting above the VWAP. We're right beneath the all-time highs. Sure looks like 850 is going to provide some significant resistance to me, 13. You tell me what you think on that one. Short interest on this name. 5.96% of the float shorted, 1.28 days to cover. Average volume here, 1.9 million shares. Today it's doing 5 million. That's versus a float of 7 million.
Yeah, I agree with that 850 area.
Okay.
It looks like that could be the big resistance. I don't see a large seller stacked up there. It looks like there's maybe one at the 840, but this reads to me like a sugar high.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like this is a prediction markets brand. It's a 25 million free to play prediction challenge. So that's temporary. And then what? What's going to keep people continuing to use this platform? Why not just go back to Kalshi? I guess that's kind of where my head's at.
I'm with you. I don't have a good answer for you, honestly.
I guess that's just kind of where I'm at because it seems like this is just to get their name out there and get them noticed, and then after that happens, how good is their platform going to be thereafter? They have to throw 25 million at people in order to get them over to their platform. That doesn't sound like a great idea. That might work, but I'm go back to what I say. It's a sugar high.
Yeah, it sounds to me like kind of like what DraftKings did and some of these online gamblers, right? They gave you all these different deals to try to get you into their book, cost them a whole bunch of money. And we'll see if in the long term, if that runs, but you bring it, or if that works, but you bring up a really good point. Why would you stay here unless there was something else keeping you there? So good way to get people in the door. Are they going to be sticky?
Mm-hmm.
That's the next question, perhaps the more important question. Okay, good stuff there on Roller as well.
And Cameron, thank you for bringing it back up. Yes, that's right. The Quantinuum IPO is today. That is correct.
And we never know exactly when they're going to open. Mm-hmm. We think between 11 and 12, probably.
If it's not open like sometime between, I would say 10 to 11, I would think that it's going to be closer to 1.
Okay. So if it's not early, then after the lunch hour. Cool.
What was it? We were asked this last time. I think I forget what the IPO was.
Wasn't it Cerberus?
It might have been. And we were asked what time that IPO is. And I think it ended up being like the around 1 p.m. So, it could be around that time. I would say if, late morning, early afternoon, just to make it easy.
Cut. Okay, I'll go to SciSpark here, but I want to highlight this here. Kathy, BJDX, that was one of our movers yesterday, the day before? I
believe so, yesterday, yeah.
Yeah, the hell, this 13 these days blend together. I don't know what to tell you about that. But nonetheless, we recently traded this one here. It was Tuesday.
Monday.
Yeah,
or Tuesday. Monday or Tuesday
morning.
We had DXST and VSA also that day.
That's right. All right. Kathy here saying it's looking interesting. So had the impulse move, regress back to the mean. We're just shy of 5 here. Schwab borrowed my shares. Is it a possible short squeeze? Well, let's take a look here at the short interest. it was negligible on this. Now, it's worth noting that this last read was effective at the end of May. So whatever just happened in the last couple of days, Kath, obviously it's not being reflected in these numbers. And I think it's safe to assume if they borrowed your shares, there's plenty of other customer shares that they borrowed as well. Could it be setting up for a short squeeze? I guess. I don't know how much is shorted there without a reading like that. I'm not too sure I can say that with any bit of confidence. Kathy, did you look into like the prospects for this company? Like, is that why you're holding it, or were you just holding it because it was a mover?
If she's holding this because she likes what the company's doing, it's probably because of the Symphony system. This is the one that had that that diagnostic. Anyway, if that's the case, and looking at the chart, 375 looks like a very strong support area. You look on a daily chart, you can see back at the beginning of the year, the price was trying to climb over that 375 area, but it was constantly rejected. Fast forward to a couple of days ago, this broke out of that 375 area, and it's been leaning on it for support ever since. You have to look at a daily chart, though.
Here's that daily chart. Oh, no.
And it's just this year that you have to look at.
There we go.
Yeah, so you see that in early 2026 there, there you go. All that right there, trying to climb over 375, failed to do so. Come over to June, here we are now using that level of support. Okay.
All right, good stuff there. Next here, SPRC. Let me throw my EMAs back on here. Here's SPRC. This stock is up 43%. We've traded this one before. Actually, we've traded this one before a number of times. SciSpark here. The subsidiary Neurothera Labs completed an acquisition of CliniQuantum.
Oh,
so I guess we would I don't know what CliniQuantum is. Boy, it's not easy for me to say either. Yeah, I would probably have to do a little bit more reading through the PR, but I can see why it's popping here a little bit.
CliniQuantum is a private Israeli technology company engaged in the development of a platform that applies quantum simulation and quantum Monte Carlo methods to clinical trial data analysis with the objective of improving the precision of clinical trial outcomes through the identification of patient subpopulations that respond to investigational therapies. So this is interesting because now we're going beyond AI for doing this analysis and using quantum, maybe quantum AI, but this is interesting. And I'm telling you, I don't think that quantum is very far away, especially when you have companies that are now integrating the technology into their products.
Yeah. No, that was I've moved over to your side on that. I think you're right on that. I think you're right on that. I think quantum is closer than we think here. SciSpark, sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say, as far as SciSpark goes, I know we want to talk about the chart and whatnot. Oh God, I love how I still have levels out here for this. Okay, so well, actually, we just blew through them all. So because we're up at 1340 right now. We did hit a high of 1565 last month on the 28th. So I would say that that's certainly a possible level to watch for. We also have, it looks like, some resistance in the 14 handle around 1425, 1430. So if we do see some more upside here, I would expect that to be a bit of an area. This ran up to over 18 in the pre-market, so it certainly could climb back up there. But looking to the left, these are some of the areas that I'm thinking it will see some resistance on the way back up there if this is going to turn around and climb back up higher. So that 1425, 1430 area, the 15, well, let's call it 1550, and looks like there might be some resistance around 1775 as well before you get to 18.
Okay. All right, good stuff there on SciSpark. Do you have anything else that you want to take a look at or cover here?
Well, let's see. Looks like Mobix is back. There's a lot of movers that we've traded before that are on this movers list this morning. It's actually quite populated with some old ex-girlfriends here. So certainly keep an eye on some of these. I think I will. But no, I don't have anything else that I particularly would want to go over unless somebody else wants to have me look at it.
Okay. What tickers do we want to take a look at? We've got 11 minutes. That should be plenty of time. 13, let's pick one when we get some here. Let's pick one that you like. And I'll actually step away here for a sec. There's probably a delay, and that's what we're waiting for. I'm actually going to go to my bigger chart here, though. We'll load that one up.
It looks like the only thing I see is VIVK. What's that?
So we actually just interviewed the CEO this morning. They had a but it's the reason that people are talking about it is because it immediately spiked, looked like it went up 100% and then totally reversed and went lower. It's actually down 40% right now. So this is what the pre-market action looks like here. Samel, if you're interested in Vivek, I would just rewind the stream and go back to the interview. We literally just interviewed James, the CEO, this morning. But price action, not great. I did see that Bob, who was watching this like a hawk this morning, ended up booking some gains on this. Vivek with the oversell just gave a big opportunity, 17% win. Bob, guess what? Starting the day off with a register ring before the opening bell. Good work, mate.
I'm seeing Meta and Rum. I can look at both of those.
Let's do that. Let's start here with Rum.
Okay.
I got a day. Oops, I have a 5-minute. Let me get you the daily 13. Bang, bang. I'll be right back. All right, man?
Okay, sounds good. So, excuse me. It looks like this one recently had a golden cross on the daily chart and also found some support from the 20-day SMA. Interestingly, it was just a few days after that golden cross happened, but it seems like we're turning around here and searching out some higher prints. Looks like this thing wants to go take out 10. 10 is a pretty big number here for this company. Looking to the left, I can see that there's been several times where this has come above 10, maybe traded above it for a day or two and come right back beneath it. And then after those times, we see more attempts to re-enter that handle, but failed. So 10 to me looks like a pretty big resistance level this morning that hopefully we can climb over. Let me look at the news here and see if there's anything here. So they entered a $270 million multi-year agreement with a third-party cloud customer for GPU cloud capacity. Because the data center play is not over yet. So it looks like they are purchasing cloud capacity powered by Blackwell B300 systems. That is awesome. And that is the news that is driving it here up this morning. And we are kind of hanging out here at 940. One thing to point out, the session volume is not that high. We haven't even traded over 1 million shares yet. So this is being traded very thinly. And that thin level of trading may result in a large move up. It could also result in a very large move down. So be careful with Rumble today if you're trading this. There hasn't been very many shares traded. And if somebody comes in and decides they're done with this, that could really knock the stock price down. Now, I think there is one interesting point about this, is that's the short interest. Over 22% of the float is shorted with over 7 days to cover. So that could be one of the reasons why you're seeing this move here today. In addition to that news, it's helping it lift it much higher. So I think when it comes to this one, I'd want to see what this does at the open. Maybe if it starts to come in after the open, we wait for it to base. But I think the news with the short interest could provide some upside. But I don't think I'd want to try this in the pre-market with how little it's being traded right now. I think I'd want to wait for the open.
Okay.
Yes, right, exactly, Jay. Well, you have 20%. We're showing 22 with 7 days to cover. Either way, it's up there.
That's close enough.
Yeah. Are people looking to jump into QNT? I would expect they are. I think with how Quantum's been getting a lot of attention lately, and that's a new Quantum IPO that's backed by Honeywell and a lot of other big players, I would think that people would want to. Yeah. And then we wanted to look at Meta,
right?
Yes. Meta. It looks like they have some headlines here from Broadcom as well. Broadcom says AI demand is insatiable. I know they just had earnings and they got hammered down. They'll be back. Demand is insatiable. That's true.
So, and you're talking about Broadcom, right?
Yeah.
So one of the things, 13, I know we're going to talk about Meta here. I'm sorry for sidetracking, but one of the things that I was asking the group early applies both to Broadcom and CrowdStrike. Both of them had pretty good reports, not gangbusters, but both of them sold off. They might be coming into levels like Broadcom might come into the round 400 number. We also have the 50-day right beneath it. Are these possible bounce plays?
I like that area that Broadcom is coming into. It's a very, very thick area of consolidation. I think that's going to be a demand zone. So we'll see if that ends up being the case today. I would expect that there would be buying down there, and it looks like in the after hours in the pre-market there was. But they had mixed earnings, and they weren't knock your socks off earnings like some of these other players have been, like Marvell and Dell and Nvidia have been having. So they sold off as opposed to just rallying. But as we were just saying, the AI trade is not done yet. There's still insatiable demand. It's going to be fine. They already mentioned that they've got their supply chain locked down for 26 and 27. They're working on 28. They gave guidance all the way out to 29. I think they're going to be just fine. And this could represent a bit of a discount to get into it. Is this as far as the price goes? I can't say for certain, but I think down here, this represents a pretty good spot for it to try and find a base.
Okay.
Now Meta.
Now we can get to Meta.
Now we can get to Meta. Okay, so this kind of going back and forth here for the past couple of weeks. It's going over the 500-day SMA, loses it. Now we're right back up to it again. It looks to me like it's trying to hold above 600 every time this past, in May, that it was down underneath 500. It was right back up above it the next day. So I think 600 is going to be a pretty good support area there, and you can look to the left and see that there's a lot more evidence of that. Now, where we go from here, I think depends upon whether or not we can get back above that 500-day SMA. We did have a few closes above it, but it was kind of weakening into all that. And then I would have to go back and look to see what happened on June 1st that pulled it right back down. But here we are trying to recapture it. And I think if we do, we're going to want to see a break over 640. 640 looks like the next big resistance area after the 500-day SMA. And if we get past that 640 resistance area, I think that should take us up to the 200-day SMA.
Good. All right. Good breakdown there on Meta. I want to take one question here. We've got 3 minutes till we open. Kelly's asking, how do you have time to trade your personal stocks while doing the show? For me, I don't want to speak for 13, but for me, it's extremely, extremely difficult. Oftentimes, I even tell you guys all the times, I miss things because I'm constantly trying to focus on things that I'm putting on screen for the group here. The thing that I learned very, very early on in this is whatever trading I'm doing while we're live here, where I cannot focus on things, must reduce size. Yes. Must reduce size, because there have been a number of times where, and I'm not even talking about the internet outages that have been plaguing me personally. I just mean getting distracted with another task. You guys bring up a stock, I'm looking at a different stock. I do less trading when I'm on the show, and I reduce size quite a bit.
Yeah, I would normally trade with much larger positions, but when I'm doing this, I have to make sure I'm protecting myself, and so I use smaller positions. But I am still trading and making some pretty good money here. Certainly better. When we were off on vacation, I had some time. It's much easier to do it that way because I'm not talking and switching between charts all the time, but I am still trying to put in some trades here and make a little bit. And as Ryan was saying, it's not easy, and you have to pay attention while also trying to put on a show. So I do, for that reason, I do have to take smaller size positions when I'm doing these trades just to protect myself.
Yeah, and normally in a normal situation, even if we have 7 or 8 things moving around, I'll focus on 1 or 2. Mm-hmm. And I'll miss the other ones just so I can have all of my attention on what's right in front of me.
All right. And we are looking like it's about a minute before we get this started. No, I'm not going to have my wife got her own her own work. I'm not going to have her be my assistant. No. All right. Just looking at some of these movers. Wow. So STI, while we were talking, that still climbed higher. 2677 was the high. Jeez. All right.
So this one's in play, you'd say?
I don't know if I would say it's in play. It maybe for some downside out of the gate, this given how it's run. I don't think I'd want to try it until I got a better idea of where this is headed. What was the? I gave some levels here, and I got like 10 seconds, so I can give them again. But yeah, it looks like we could be headed towards, what is this level? Maybe like 28, 27.
And don't forget. PDT rule down
right.
for some brokers today, so we might see some of this craziness here. Okay, we're open. Lion, you get your wish. Casino's open, baby. Showtime. Love it, EKS. Love it.
All right. So STI.
Sorry, go ahead. Just go ahead.
All right. Yeah, STI kind of pulling here. Fox not doing a whole lot right now. It kind of ran up into the some of the resistance area that was facing in the pre-market around 5:15, 5 o'clock this morning. Might pull. BlackBerry's headed back up. I hit 12, and that was it for me.
SPY pulled right to the VWAP and is trying to hold that right here, 751 3/4. It's trying to hold VWAP.
Yeah, BlackBerry, I still think that could maybe climb higher following some cooling, because this thing ran up to 12 in the after hours, I think a day or two ago, and yesterday it was kind of looking like it topped out. So I would wait for this thing to come back in a little bit. I think this is the month where we see some regression. Wow, look at Fox go now. I think this is the month where we see some regression. And I don't think that this is done, but I think this is going to come back in and cool off before it makes another big move higher. Speaking of big moves higher, look at Fox go. This is going right up to that 6 area.
Yep.
And STI has halted. Is it to the upside? Yes, it is.
It is indeed halted. Halt came at 9:30.58, by the way. So 9:35.58 is the first time we want to pay attention to. Indeed halted to the upside, 26.87.
Okay, so there's STI halted. Fox hit actually 580. It wants 6. Roller spilled over the VWAP, went lower, found some support around 660, is trying to climb itself back up now. SPRC, not doing a whole lot yet. It kind of did this, and then now it's not doing anything.
Reggie saying TME guys, 10-cent music, that's trading higher here too. Now this is 13. So this is a China name.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about a possible like pump effect to distract from the Tiananmen Square anniversary, I guess is the right word. That's today, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, and it is. And keep an eye on SPRC. It's starting to get some movement. But TME, this is, I think this is more of a not a junky company. This is like more of an established company. But to your point, I think that we could find some other name that that's low float that might go, because this one has 750 million shares, and the ones we've been looking at have been very low float. So I think the idea is correct, and TME might continue going here, but I think we're going to want to find some name that's got a much lower float that is getting latched onto. Now we also talked about how BABA had some great seasonality starting today. Look at the move so far.
On which one? Sorry,
BABA.
BABA. That was the initial one that we talked about. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Here is BABA. Let me answer this question here real quick. Tawan is asking, hi, what is VWAP in simple terms? Okay, so VWAP stands for volume weighted average price. So the way that you can think about this in simple terms is that it is a true price average because it is incorporating where most of the trading took place, since it's also looking at volume. So what it does is it draws a line that's similar to a moving average. This often acts as a resistance or support area. Let me know if that answers your question.
Fox is hot. This thing ran even more, went up to 672 before it started backing off a little bit here. Might not be done, but now you've got some support levels that we can take a look at here. You got like 613, 615. That's we're coming down to right now. We'll see if that gets support. If not there, you got 580. So a couple of support levels on the way down here for Fox. Roller still trying to climb its way back up over VWAP. STI still halted. This should be unhalting soon. I would think in the next minute.
Yeah, 30. Yeah, it's near 36. So we're currently at 34, 38. So we got just over a minute, 13.
Excellent.
Rum is ripping. That was one of the ones that you guys were looking at earlier. Let me put that on screen here. Size Spark, it's actually trying to turn around. Interestingly enough, it's in a fair value gap.
Oh, I think I had a little hiccup there, but everything's fine. Okay.
No, I don't know. I was asking.
No, it wasn't you. It was Restream. Okay, so Fox did get some support. It's trying to push higher, still not beyond the 672. This actually may cool a bit before it tries to make the next move higher. Just waiting for that STI to unhalt. That should be soon. Roller tried to get above VWAP. It's losing it again.
SPY, so that was very interesting. That SPY came into the VWAP, held and bounced, and actually went higher than actually there was a higher high in the pre-market. Sorry about that. Basically went to the pre-market highs and found resistance there. So far, so good on the SPY. Held the VWAP.
Well, what level did it hold? Remember that we were talking?
751.88 is the VWAP level.
Well, I mean, when we were talking.
Oh, the previous all-time high. Yes, sorry. No,
well, it was previous all-time highs, and then beneath that, I said the psych level 750, and that is where we've been holding this morning.
And that is exactly what we said when we did it when we outlined the SPY here this morning.
Excellent. All right, so STI unhalted, down,
there it is.
Now going into a halt again. So this has gone nowhere. It just went up and then went down. 2 halts on the day. Have fun. Fox still kind of going back and forth, still holding above VWAP, looking like we might be getting a series of upper shadows. The next candle could tell us if that's the case. Roller still coming in some more. SPRC looks like we're trying to hold above the 9 and the 15 EMAs. This thing isn't really getting a whole lot of volume right now.
Let's see what else you guys are looking at. You guys are looking at Lassie, LASE. That had it's not really doing a whole lot here. It is up 2.5%. And it looks like it's holding this like 275 area.
Yeah, this one was a mover yesterday.
Yep. And the day before.
Yep. I think 380 after this 340 area where it ran up to in the pre-market. If we get past 340, I think 380 is going to be the next spot to watch for. That's the next resistance above 340, I think.
Okay. AMD getting asked about?
Probably down with Broadcom.
I was going to say this seems like it's just down with the rest of tech. Remember, tech was the weakest here in the pre-market. It is up off the lows, but it's still down over 1%. CrowdStrike tried to trade up out of the open and reversed a little bit. Let me check in on Broadcom as well. Broadcom basically still near the lows. The low I have in the pre-market, 403.50 on ticker AVGO.
And if you look at a daily chart, you can see that consolidation I'm talking about, that demand zone. It's going to be on a daily, though. You got to look at it. And,
for Broadcom, right?
Yeah. And you see all that right there? Yeah.
Absolutely.
All that consolidation right in there. That's the demand zone that we want to see hold this price up here.
Yep. This is exactly what we outlined from the chart in the morning when we covered the earnings. That is exactly correct. Okay. See if we catch a bounce in any of those. Has anyone bought any of these for a bounce today?
I actually, before I even came on, I was looking at Fox and I thought, this looks like this could move. So I picked it up during that consolidation in the pre-market. It was like around 9, 10, 9, or not then. It was like 8. It was just before I came on, but I got in that consolidation there, and I may have gone out a little bit too early, to be honest. But I traded this one out of the open. That's all I've done today.
Okay, awesome. And just to kind of go back to our initial question earlier, I've made no trades today.
Fox now printing over 7. It hit 703, going higher. This looks like it could still climb up maybe towards 10. I don't know that we'll see it, but I'm starting to believe that 9's possible here. And I drew a trend line here to kind of measure where this move could go. If you want to do it at home, I'm using the after hours price action.
And I'm sorry, which trend line is it?
That one right there.
Right here. It's this, right? It's right here in the after hours.
Yep. That kind of gave me a little target to shoot for here. Maybe the price heads there.
Did you use that first candle?
I used the very first impulse one that was at 1620, so 420, and I drew it through the high at what is that, 625.
Got it. That's what I've got here. I probably don't have it exact like you.
That's pretty good.
It's pretty close. That gives us that target there, 13.
Yeah, so that could take us up somewhere in between 9 and 10. We'll see if we get up there, but that would be how I look at the target. RUM still climbing. This is over 10 now.
Broadcom back down to the lows.
I have 1130 as the next resistance area from here for RUM.
1130, you said?
I do. Yep, 1130. Okay. Looks like LASE is also climbing. Waiting for SPRC to unhalt. That should be a little bit longer though. Looks like Roller is, not having a good time. I would say at this stage, you're going to be wanting to look for support around 645 and then the 65 EMA.
I'm seeing some puts get bought here for Marvell after its big run. These look like kind of a short-term, almost a swing trade. It's the 270 put for July. There were multiple sweeps totaling over $1 million in the sweeps. So it looks like there's some fresh, out-of-the-money put buying on Marvell for next month.
Yeah, you're right, Buffalo. It's a very mixed bag, but that's part of the fun. RUM is on Coke. Oh, I get it because they're going high. Yeah, I got you. BB, they be dip. You mean they buy the dip? Call centers AI. So, Jay, with that in mind, I got one for you I think you might like. Give me 1 second here. I wrote it down. I wrote several of them down, and I thought one of them was really interesting. EGAN. This is a company that has AI solutions as a service. And Louis Navalier actually likes this one. He said this is one of the ones that could, really take off. They've got pretty good fundamentals. It's got a pretty low float, 17 million shares. Their product is very interesting. If you go to their website, it's pretty much just like an AI knowledge hub and help that people use this to help make music and other services. Take a look at this one. I think this is up your alley if you're into fiber.
Good stuff, 13. Mm-hmm. Good stuff on that. And also, I know we didn't have a whole lot of time to discuss these last night. We can do that again today if you want. We'll just make sure we make some time.
Sure.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Let's look at these movers again. So still waiting for STI to unhalt. Fox trying to decide if we're going to see some 8 prints now or not.
Lassie's trading higher, so that has actually crept up a little bit. 335 on Lassie. STI still halted. Yeah, you're right. 13. Sorry.
Yep. And Lassie, we hit 345. We're trying to get back up there. Still want to see 380 on that.
Fox with some more here.
Perfect.
Not quite at the trend line, but we'll see. Lion saying that those Marvell put buyers are going to lose. Place your bets.
The put bids are going to lose money. Oh. Reddit on fire.
Like the forums itself or the stock?
The stock. Well, the forums are always on
it is straight up out of the open. He's right on that.
I think there was news of an insider trade here. Let's see. These look like sells.
Yeah, I have an option sale from the CEO and president. That was on June 2nd. on Reddit.
Okay, well, I'm not. Yeah, so I'm not sure why this is going here today. Maybe there was a post on Reddit that that got it going. I don't know. Or maybe everybody was posting that the pattern day trading rule is done, and now it just started taking off. I do not know why Reddit's going. Let me see if I can find some news.
You know, I almost wonder if we're going to see more of like a noticeable effect as more brokerages adopt that next week. SPY, by the way, so that initial move that took us above 753, we've now come back into the VWAP 752.20. We'll see if this holds here and gives a bounce. The S&P futures also so far holding the VWAP. SPY's beneath it, S&P futures pretty much on it. We'll see if we get a bounce here in the SPY.
I'm seeing that there's some news here regarding Blue Sky. Blue Sky's chief operating officer, Rose Wang, told CNBC that the site saw its future not in rivaling X, but taking inspiration from the online community forum Reddit. I don't know that this is what's driving it here. Let me see if I can keep.
No, I don't think so either. That seems like a cop-out quote too. But
it's the most recent thing that I can find here right now.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Broadcom coming into 403 now. So we talked about that round 400 number. I think this 400 to 403 area has got a hold, or there's more downside coming on Broadcom.
All right. So Fox did come down to VWAP. We are currently getting support right there. Volume has slowed down. We'll see if this provides some support. And we'll want to see a recapture of 7. Other names, Rumble kind of doing the same thing. That went down beneath VWAP, so that has the task of recapturing it now as well. LASE, actually this climbed a bit higher, 364, the current high, almost to that 380.
We have any spots on where we think this can go? And is 350 still going to be one of those key areas?
Well, I've got several levels to the upside here. So 380 is one of them, 425 is another, and 460 and 480 afterwards.
Okay, so to me this looks like that 380 one is probably the big one. Like if we get over that, maybe we can get some more here.
STI is open. It gapped down. It's trying to fill that gap right now. Don't know if we're going to end up climbing back up to the highs, but we just filled that gap.
S&P bouncing from the VWAP here, and I actually did get a buy indicator on buy signal on my indicator here, although I'm not in it. S&P futures look like they just bounced clean off the VWAP right there.
LASE still trying to climb higher. I think if we do get this move beyond the 364 session high, this is going to take us up to 380. Fox now starting to get some movement up away from VWAP. Still needs to get recapture that 7 handle. Seller in the way at 705. We're chewing through him right now. Oh, we just beat him. Just beat him down.
And right. Broadcom so far is holding that. I don't want to get too excited about an early bounce, though.
Fox still trying to recover here. It climbed over 7, ran up to 741 really quickly. STI also continuing to climb. This might actually go into an upside halt, and there it is. So STI and Fox, you know, despite the halts and some of the price action, this has been 2 of the best movers.
Indeed. Do I see MicroStrategy in the green? Yeah, MicroStrategy up 2%. And that's with Bitcoin down 2.25%.
Yeah, I don't. Maybe Dr. Manred. It's like pumping itself. I don't really want to explore that. I mean, there's all kinds of things that people say that get stocks moving, including our own president. So maybe, but I don't think anybody's going to go after him for it. Yeah, some brokerages have already adopted the PDT rule, Hood and Webull as well, in addition to TradeStation.
You know what? That's actually a good reminder, 13. What is Hood doing today? Hood up off the lows too.
And here we are with LASE going right to 380. We just came within 4 cents of it. Should see a little bit more of a push to get to 380. Come on. Come on, 2 more cents. 2 more. Thank you.
There you go. There's 380. Now, what happens here at 380? Dude who has a position in this that keeps asking about it. What is your trade plan? Where are the take profit spots? What are you looking for? And perhaps most importantly, what is the time horizon of that trade?
Well, I mean, probably going to, well, there it goes. It's starting to pull back here from 380. There's a seller in the way. That's a resistance area. So I would think that this gets the price to come in a little bit here. Maybe, given a little bit of time, this tries to come back up and push through 380. And if we get that, the psychological level of 4 probably will come into play, but I have the next resistance area at 425.
Okay.
All right, Fox trying to push to new highs. We're if we do get past 775 pretty soon here, we're going to be very, very close to hitting that trend line that we drew. All right, so Rumble, SPRC, and Roller not looking great right now. Rumble did provide a good trade out of the gate here, but it is giving it all back. We're back to the open now.
SciSpark rejected at VWAP 2.
SciSpark looks like that's going to come down to either 12.25 or 12 even.
BlackBerry back above 10.
Wow, that was fast.
Palantir trying to bounce back after yesterday's move down. Retro asking about Walmart. Where are we on Walmart with respect to that 200-day? I think we're still beneath it. We were waiting for a potential recapture of the 200-day.
Tom, I think you're right about that. And
we did.
And I think that we're also because we're also heading into the summer, we're already going to have that volatility. So this just adds to it. I'm not pumping anything.
So Retro here. So we were waiting for a recapture of this 200. We got it yesterday. We got a close above it. We got a little bit of a move higher here. It's up by 1.8% here today. I'd like to see 3 closes above this. And I think maybe we can make a move back towards that 125 area.
So far, I'm more or less getting what I expected out of Walmart with regard to the interaction. We did go beneath the 200-day SMA. And then we recaptured it. We're back up here over 118, which is what I expected we would do, is get up to 118, but we're over it now. I think we're going to lose 118. And if we end up losing 118 and then the 200, I think that's going to set us on the path to go down to 105. That's what I'm expecting to happen here next with Walmart. I think there's downside ahead.
Okay, so you're expecting it to re-lose the 200 and then maybe find some support at 105. Cool.
I mean, that's just the way I'm looking at this double top and expecting how it's going to play out.
Broadcom so far has still held that 403, but it looks like it might be retesting that. Meanwhile, SPY futures here, or S&P futures, back up to the day high here. SPY is actually trying to set a new intraday high, and meanwhile, the breath has totally turned green. SPY, Dow, Qs, Russell, and Nice, all positive breath. Bullish trend right now. Confidence level in the 70%.
I guess we're kind of right on time. It seems like around this time lately, every morning, after following some selling, we get this turnaround that takes us up into the afternoon.
Yeah.
We experience a little bit of selling in the afternoon. Fox, by the way, still holding above VWAP, and if it looks like it's trying to turn around and get back up over 7 again. If it can climb up, great. If we lose VWAP here, then this might be starting to lose VWAP. If we lose VWAP here, then this might be done for the morning.
CrowdStrike here might be trying to go higher. It's made one attempt to do that, came back into to its VWAP, it looks like, and making a second attempt. Looking around here, let's see if there's anything else interesting. Oil's lower here. VIX is actually dropping too, back to a 16 handle.
Microsniper mentioning that NEXR is popping.
NEXR, let's take a look at that. See what Pro tells us about that. Oh, that is a nice little pop on volume. Did we have any news, Market Sniper?
STI unhalted, new
We
high
did.
today. Thank you, Bob. Yeah, 2770 now the new high. Now we're going to find out if Fox can recapture its VWAP here after testing the 9 EMA following that drop that it just had.
So one of Nexera's subsidiaries is going to be open for trading on Monday. FRIT is the ticker. That's what's driving this higher anyway. Up 80% on that pop.
GLW might have to add if it comes closer to 180. So we did get a significant correction here in Corning. That's the one you're bringing up here. Nice 7% drop down here. To me, it looks like this is going to the 50-day SMA. That seems to be where this thing likes to go to in weakness.
And honestly, probably not a bad pullback for it to happen after its meteoric rise.
So maybe somewhere around 175. Oh, nice. Okay, thanks. So good earnings from CN. That's helping AAOI, Light, and GLW along. Looks like Roller is getting support from the 65 EMA.
Oh, that's CIEN. Big pullback there on its earnings. Oh, this is at the lows here.
Looks like Fox is trying to re-enter that VWAP here. It's facing some resistance, but if it can get back in that VWAP, we should see the other side of 7. Well, you know, Cameron, I think there's still some other rules in place for you know, brokerages to protect themselves. I think it's like, you know, you can the threshold is now 2,000, but they have like some kind of mechanism that halts trading after a certain you know, margin amount. I can't remember everything about it, but I think there is some rule in place in lieu of the PTD or PDT.
Dow has continued to scream higher here.
Yeah, I think because, you know, we had that House Republican vote to end the Iran war yesterday. I think that's causing some of these. Well, let's look at the consumer names, because, you know, if that war is going to be over, then that's going to bring energy prices down. It should bring food prices down.
And we're seeing that in the oil price today, 13, down 3.5%, almost 4%.
So XLY up over 1%. And if we are going to be done with this Iran war, I would expect this and maybe even financials to start trading back up higher. Well done, Kathy. BJDX up 15% on the day.
Yeah, that was good, Kath.
Looks like LESE still getting support from VWAP. This looks like it wants to turn around and push higher. I think you're right, Buffalo. I think Home Depot is at a good discount. I think between 300 and even, you know, 300 and 325. I think that's pretty much a good discount range there for Home Depot. I agree. That's a good point, Lance. I expect there's going to be a fight over this. We'll see how it all develops. You know, I don't think it serves us too well to try to speculate about what might happen right now. But currently, it's already affecting you know, the consumer side, so in a positive way. So I think that for now, that's where I would be paying attention. But I think you bring up a great point. STI still climbing higher, knocking on the door of 30. Man, these two movers we looked at were really good.
Yeah, they were big today.
Now, Fox is still struggling with its VWAP right now. It's still trading underneath it. But if we can get back above this, I think we do see that hit our trend line.
Let me go back to that 5-minute chart. We'll get Fox up here. Boy, STI, this is just straight up. Straight up. All you WRX fans, let's go.
Yeah, right. This thing is still climbing. Maybe 34 is coming. Maybe. And then LASE, there's a seller in the way at 355. So that could provide some upside pressure here, or pressure to the upside. But if we can chew through that, then I think we see the other side of 380.
A retest there of that 380.
Yep.
Kenneth said, I sold STI too soon, but you did make money on it.
Yep.
So that means registering. Jay says, I don't like Home Depot. Low hit my 52-week low yesterday. TSCO has been awful. It's not terrible, but I don't see much growth there.
I like TSCO longer term. I think it's at a pretty good discount. But I agree, it's going to take some time for that to turn around. And I think that with the end of the Iran war, we might start to see that happen. But I agree, it's been hammered down. I can understand why people wouldn't want to touch it. But when I see well-established good companies that are beaten down like this, I get interested.
Home Depot ex-dividend today too, by the way.
Okay, might start trading better after that.
Yep.
STI halted to the upside, 30.92. With that halt, we might see Fox recapture its VWAP since that one's halted, and now they're, these traders are looking for something to hit next. And it looks like we're getting an attempt to recapture VWAP here in Fox. Oh yes, we noticed that it's trading beneath that's 200-day SMA. It's actually trading beneath its 50-month SMA, which I don't have a whole lot of history of them doing that, especially since.
Here, let me go to my bigger chart. I'll give you a visual aid for this 13.
Yeah.
Man, I might need a refresh here. I don't know why this is all so laggy.
So Fox still trying to struggle with that recapture of VWAP. That's what I'm keeping an eye on right now. Fox already looks like it's kind of bouncing. We just need to see that next step of this bounce with the recapture of VWAP. Charter, cable companies are gross. I agree.
Hate them. You don't need me to tell you that after everything that's been going on. Parvez, Lassie, second day with gains. Thanks, guys. Hey, man, you don't need to thank us. You're the one clicking the buttons. We're just talking about the stocks that are moving and why they're moving. Good job.
And we have some pretty decent looking movement here with LASE right now. Want to see this get back up to 380 and over it so we can see that 425 print. Looking north of where the current price is at, there is a seller in the way at 375. That might provide some trouble. And then you have a little cluster of other sellers in the 380 area. So we need to see some expansion of volume here if we're going to get through all of that.
We're also seeing another 13. We're seeing another pullback here in the SPY. We'll see if that reaches to the VWAP. It's currently at the 9 SMA.
Fox
9
working
EMA,
on,
excuse me.
Fox working on that VWAP still.
Gotcha. Oops.
Somebody mentioned that Tom Lee's going to have to admit when he's wrong at some point. It's funny because I was thinking that this morning when it was BM&R was trading under 17. Now it's back up above 17 and kind of ripping up to the next resistance area, which is going to be between 1740 and 1750. Why do you feel like it's a bull trap?
It's a trap.
It very well could be. Use your best decision making and prepare for that if that's what you think is happening here. I don't think it's a bad idea to prepare for any bull traps.
Yeah, to answer your question, what I think is happening is I think you're hearing a news headline about the war almost being over. You're seeing the market come down a little bit, start to trade back up on that headline, and you've seen this story before. So your internal feeling is probably like, yeah, this might be a trap till we get our next headline and the market goes down.
Fox still struggling with that VWAP. Meanwhile, we're waiting for STI to unhalt. See if it takes us to 34. LASE, on the other hand, this is making its way towards that 380. Still have those jokers in the way at 375 and the cluster of them at 380. We need to see expanding volume to get through all of that. STI open 31.23, climbing higher still. Remember this thing? This thing closed around $5 yesterday. Just so you know. All right, 32.83. Do we see 34? There's 33. Another 50 cents. We're gonna get 34.
I'm gonna refresh my platform here. I'm lagging a bit.
And there it is, 34. And it said, you know what? Screw your 34. We want 35. 35 is now the print going higher. Good Lord. Who caught that? Who caught all that? Yeah, 34, I think, is where I would have been out of this anyway. I could tell you where the next resistance levels are, but I don't know where this is going to find that turnaround point.
36 now.
36 now. This thing is getting a little extended here. Let me look at real quick. I'll give you some levels.
Lassie coming up to 380, by the way.
Yeah, maybe 44, 41, 44. Those also look like spots. Blew through that one. Blew through that one. Yeah, I think that's what I would look at. 44, then 50 would be a psych level, then 55, and then 66.50.
SPY down here at VWAP. S&P futures pulling a little bit. They're still above VWAP. It'd be interesting to see if that holds there.
Mark, you're looking for 38.58? No, we're beelining right for that. You might be right. 37.66. I did see that that news webcoin because I saw that there was that spike and I was like, what is this about? And it was because of the battery UPS systems for data centers. And now this is one that's the same thing, but for able to be used in space, to be able to withstand that type of radiation and environment. 38 now. This is going to halt.
Unreal move here.
Auctioneers.
HCC, Luis, what is the name of the volume indicator that I have on the bigger chart on the right side? That's the volume profile visible range.
Yes, Jay, that is absolutely it. One of the things that have been trying to put people's eyes towards is if on this Iran war, we could see a lot of these consumer names start to come back. The financials look like they could come back. So those two sectors looked like they were ready to go. I think that's what we're going to end up seeing. And being that a lot more of the consumer-facing names are in the Dow Jones, I think that's one of the reasons why you're seeing it go higher. STI polling now.
SPY maybe holding its VWAP here. We'll see. Gary says we sound like auctioneers. I don't have any Texas twang, and I haven't heard it yet from 13 either.
Hey, look at this. Fox is back above its VWAP. Here we go. Give us that trend line, and then we'll find out what the Fox says.
SPY is trying to bounce here.
Yeah, trade exactly to my point. Healthcare as well, consumer facing, exactly. And LASE right back up to 380, finding resistance. If we continue to hold, I think I would say 350 or the VWAP, either one. If we continue to hold this and we can try to push up towards 380 again, that next visit is probably going to be the breakthrough. Didn't get the volume we needed to break through at this time, but if we hold VWAP and try again, we need to see that volume expansion. I think that could be the one that takes us higher.
Lion here, I grabbed a few NVIDIA 220 calls expiring in July. Okay, so you like NVIDIA higher. Actually, I've taken my eye off of the option scanner, unfortunately. I can't tell you if I've seen any recent sweeps there, but I'll pay attention to it.
Yes, Albert, maybe. That's why I'm watching to see if the VWAP holds. If we start losing and closing underneath VWAP, yeah, double top for sure. Okay. So MU filled the gap from last Friday. I'm going to look at that because was that like a gap to the downside? It filled it and now we're just turning around. Let me see here. Okay, so yeah, it did fill the gap to the downside. So I guess what we're kind of thinking is we want to see this now the gap filled. We want to see the support in this area, maybe the 925 area where that it went sideways for a short period of time. Because it looks to me like if we lose 900, we're going to get support from probably the 20-day SMA.
SPY is trying to go higher here.
As is Fox.
Stuff there.
Yeah, STI reversed at the moment. It's halted to the downside.
Zach saying volume profile visible range. Ryan, you just made my day. That's what I do. I make days around here. No, that's it. And HCC Lewis, let me know if you found it. SPY continuing to bounce here. Boom. So that VWAP pull indicator worked. Let's go.
What's the thought here? What's the thought here with Koru, Jay? Because this one looks like it might be at a support area, and if it's not here, it might be after it gap fills.
Koru, this is C. Oh, I see. KORU. Got it.
Korean bull ETF, directional ETF. LASE.
Daniel, you have yourself a great weekend. We'll be back tomorrow, but if we don't see it, we'll see you again on Monday.
Yep. Have a good one.
SPY bounce took us to 753.50. And the S&P futures right near the high. That 15-minute chart's got a hammer on it.
Wow, Rum almost gave back the entire move. It's down at its 65 and 200 EMAs trying to find some support.
Yes, you did find it, Luis. Excellent. And Lion saying, time to ride the MU up. So, Lion, do you think this recaptures 1,000? Zach, let's get that close above 12 on Ondas. That would be great. Tesla's trading back up to the highs, by the way. That's back above 420. Okay, VIX also continuing to melt here. 15 handle, 1583 on your VIX. Oil's still at the lows. It looks like that SPY bounce so far has slowed down.
Seahorse, that's awesome. Well done.
Nice. Here we go. Boom.
It looks like things have really okay. So Fox, a little weak now, pulling back beneath the VWAP. It's looking like there's a bit of a pull happening across a lot of these names right now. Wow, what a move with Bello. That was a good opportunity to get some in the after hours or the pre-market as well. It went down to 1850. Now it's up at 2082. Great day for Starwood too. Every time that goes under 17, it's just another opportunity. You can even trade this. If it goes under 17, you just buy it then, wait for it to go over 17 and sell it.
Yeah, full. You're right. We've seen that movement recently. Here it is on screen. Full disclosure, this is my biggest position. I do not trade it. I simply hold it. In fact, I've never sold any.
SPY action looks like a possible bear flag. What time frame was that? I'll take a look. Also, one of the names from yesterday, Xenotech. This has got
That's
some
another
interesting
drone name.
Yeah, this has got some interesting price action out of the gate. It looks like it's about to move higher through some of the after-hours consolidation.
It does. Bavesh. Here it is. Volume profile, visible range. Volume profile, visible range.
Kush, STI is halted right now. I don't have a time on when we're going to see it on halt. Ryan, do you have anything?
Let me see what I can. All I can do is guess. It doesn't necessarily tell me when it's going to unhalt, but it was halted at 10:10:29. It's currently 10:15:04. So we got 20 seconds. Let me actually put it on screen. We'll watch it together. If it's a 5-minute halt, should be coming out right here.
Okay, I think it might be longer than that then, because we already had several halts on this one.
In fact, this is the 5th halt that we're in.
Yeah, so I think they go. It's for longer. The higher up we go.
Okay, so now we're probably looking at 10 minutes. Then we are past the. 20.
Nope, you're right. It just unhalted. You were right.
Nope. It was 5 minutes exactly to the 29.
Yep.
Shout out to the Benzinga Pro Signals tool, telling you exactly when something is halted, so that you can easily figure out possible resumption times.
And now it's resuming trading. It's trying to push back up. Looks like Roller's still trying to recover, still trading beneath VWAP. I have that at 724. It's recapturing the 9 and 15 EMAs. I think it's going to run into some trouble at the psych level of 7 before it gets up to VWAP. We'll see if that's all shapes up, but it's got support from the 65 EMA and it's turning around.
That SPY bounce really did slow down at this area. Got to think that this 353.5 is resistance. Two good comments here. Well, 3 good comments here. I'll start with the most recent. Ondas to the sky. Giddy up. Let's get more. Brian says, called it since IPO. We got Cerberus under 200. We are almost there. And Jay mentioning AVEX was awful. Glad I sold. Swarmer's so much better on the drone news 3 days ago. Drones just in general got hurt yesterday. Lassie pulling back here to.
Yep. Losing the VWAP. So this could end up being that double top that was, sorry, I forgot who said that, but that could be the result here if we start closing underneath VWAP. STI, on the other hand, this is still climbing, and it looks like it looks like it wants to try for that 38 again, maybe even 40. We get that continued volume expansion. That's what we could see.
I do have a fair value gap here on Lassie, an unmitigated one too, and it's very thin. I've got it starting at about 326, 327. And I have the bottom end of it 322. So if you wanted to try this 13, you're making a good point about the potential intraday double top after losing the VWAP. But if you do want to try this actually if you want to actually pay attention to the fair value gap itself, this actually affords you a pretty tight stop. Here we go.
And where do you have that at?
So here, top end of it, I'm trying to get it exactly for you. Top end of it, I have at 327. Bottom end of it, I have at 320.
Okay.
Now I can actually confirm that from the candles. Indeed, high is 320, so the bottom end of that is 320. Top end of it is 325, literally 5-cent gap.
Okay, that works for me because I'm looking at doing the measurements from the trough and the peak with these double tops here, and if we're going to get a resolution of this, that's going to take us down to about $3. So I could see this going a little bit lower, even down to $3 before it gets some support. But if it gets it from your area in the fair value gap, that makes sense to me too. But I think I would say just like 3 to 320.
That fair value gap was also like a resistance area when the pre-market opened here. And here we go. So 326. We'll see. We'll see if it ends up bouncing from here.
I think this
into the gap. So we're into the gap. You know, I'll just try a little bit here. What the heck? Let's see if I get filled. Oh, bounce too quick for me to even get filled. Lol.
Yeah, I think, okay, so
Here,
there's
now it's
320.
coming down to the bottom here. Okay, so it's at the bottom of the gap. Let's see if this holds right here.
There's still somebody walking it down.
Yep, and it's big.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now we're actually through. This thing needs to bounce here, or I would say scrap it.
I think we're going to 3.
And I'm not in it. I'm not in it, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
My order didn't get filled, and I guess that was lucky. Here, let's see if we come back into it. Ryan 13, could you give me your scanner configuration, the one that's on the screen now? Yes, definitely. First of all, it says it right at the top here. I know this is probably impossible for you to see, so sorry about that. But here's what it looks like in Pro.
Okay, Ryan, you're getting a turnaround here. It's got to chew through the sky at 322. But yeah, we got it right in the middle there, almost exactly in the midpoint. 312, I think, was the low here. We'll see if this turns around. It looked like it's starting to.
Here, that's Oscar, right? Oscar, you can see on the screen here, these are the filters that I have and the values for those filters. Take a screenshot if you have to, because I'm going to have to collapse this pretty soon so I can actually see the results list.
Yeah, I will look at Tesla. Looks like LASC still getting a little bit of weakness here. If we do go lower, I'm thinking 3 is where we get that support.
Okay. And again, just to reiterate, did not take this trade. Tried to initially, did not get filled, pulled it, have not rebought.
Yeah, TSLA now. Getting asked about this. See an inverse head and shoulders dating back to early May. So I guess you're looking at the longer time frames like a daily chart. Unless I'm looking at it, not the same time frame you are. I think you're probably talking about some of the like the left shoulder kind of forms in April, I guess, with the head in May and the right shoulder in May. I guess I could kind of see that, but it doesn't really look too much like a. And I'm looking at a 1 hour chart, by the way. So if this is a different time frame, let me know. But I don't really think I would be looking at this as a head and shoulders pattern. To me, it looks like we've run up and started to trade into a symmetrical triangle on the 1 hour. Let me know what time frame you're looking at here, so I could try to see what you're looking at.
Liam, Ryan, how can I postpone my appointment with you for tomorrow? It doesn't show me to book another appointment anymore. Yeah, you're right, because I am booked 3 weeks in advance, brother. You give that appointment up, it's going to be a bit.
LASC below 3.
I think Selena's saying that it's got a fib level at 275. Here's what we're looking at.
Okay, got you. Oh, so you think it's going right back to the open? SCI halted again, this time down. The party might be over here. Party might be over for the morning, if not the day. You've got support levels down 26 and maybe 22, if not the VWAP. Fox looks like this is trying to push again. It's over VWAP. Trying to get through that resistance at around 730, 725, 730.
I have a trend line. Intraday trend line that I see here. Let's see if it busts above it. We're right on it.
A little bit of a bull pennant there. Let's see if we can get through 7 and
see if we break out of it.
Yeah. That means we'll be going beyond 775.
ES is trying to push out of that spot. You're right, Bri. That might have some more legs. I'll tell you what, the biggest tip that I can give anybody trading 0 DTEs, wait that first 5 or 10 minutes out. Just pretend like it's not even, treat it like, just ignore it. I'm trying to think of a better example, and I'm really struggling. Ignore that first couple of minutes. Let it kind of settle out, because you eventually get some opportunities that are pretty good. red wire. Looks like this is. Oh, what happened there? Just disappeared. Fox actually it's trying to go right now through that trend line. I'm actually going to leave this up here real quick. I want to see if this breaks through the trend line or not. It's through now. Let's see 720 here.
Mm-hmm.
SPY is approaching red to green. I'll tell you what, the S&P futures chart actually looks like. So I have the daily pivot here at 750, 75.73. 75.73 and a half. We'll see if the S&P futures can move through that.
Yeah, and it
SPY
looks like
at the day highs.
it looks like Fox is going to try for that 775. There's a seller that just jumped in at around 730. Oh, they just pulled that right down.
Yeah, they sure did. Boy, I'll tell you what, that peaked above the trend line and then got yanked.
With regard to Tesla, I think this is what I would be looking at here, Joe. Ryan, could you go to a daily chart for Tesla for me? I'm gonna.
Yeah, and you know what? Let me put it on the big one, 13, just so I can actually take a look at the same moving averages that you do in case. Here's Tesla.
All right, I want you to start with. I want you to draw a trend line. Start with the April 9th low.
Got it.
Draw it through the low of April 30th and the low of May 19th, and just keep it going. And I think this is the trend line you're going to want to watch for, Joe. If we start closing beneath this, which is also going to mean a close beneath the 200-day SMA, I think that's your signal that Tesla is going to come in some more. This is the trend line I'd be watching.
Tara says, although it's extremely hard, I was always taught to wait 15 minutes before trading when you're starting. Zach says he waits out 30 minutes. I'm telling you what, man, it's the amount of head fakes that saves you. It's not a foolproof thing, but the amount of head fakes that it saves you is significant.
Yeah, and a lot of people attribute the trading in the open gambling because of just how wild price action can be.
Yeah.
So it's a good measure of discipline to wait like 15 minutes before we start jumping into positions, because a lot of that volatility, that wild price action cools a bit, and it allows you to actually fill your orders and get more reasonable
entries
and exits. Yeah. Marvell climbing over its 200 EMA on the 5-minute.
How we doing, Lion? Lion calling for Marvell to recapture 300 today. I'll tell you what, looking at this intraday chart, sure looks like this 280 level. I guess maybe I'll even call it 278. That looks to have held it. Multiple attempts, including during the regular session, held all of it.
Okay. All right. Let's see here. So STI looking like that's gonna probably come back in some more. Fox, this one's weird. It goes beneath the view app like it's going to be finished, and then it just it just climbs back over it. So here we are back above VWAP. We'll see if this next 1 minute 45 seconds of this candle can close above it. I have no positions right now. Things are starting to noticeably get slower. It's almost 10:30. Volume might not be as great with some of these, so I think I'm going to be just hold off for now. Wait and see what the afternoon gives me.
Yep, and we are outside of the primary trade windows for the 0 DTE calls now that we're getting up towards 10:30. S&P futures approaching the daily pivot here. This absolutely should serve as a resistance level. It's not to say it can't go through it, but you should find some resistance here on that S&P.
Yeah, EKS, Macy's being picked up by Berkshire, what I thought was a pretty interesting move. And here we are with them nailing that trade, because now we're getting the consumer-facing names to start coming back.
Quick check in on Lassie here. It is basically right there. It is trying to hold this area. We'll see if we end up getting a bounce. Again, no position for me, but we talked about it. Maybe we get this bounce here. Will Lassie hit 4, or is that a reach? Well, this is what I'll say to answer that. Number one, it's going to have to hold this gap area. If it holds this gap area, the second part, or the second thing that it needs to do, is it needs to get through 380. We have been talking about a potential intraday double top at 380 because there's plenty of resistance there. So I'm taking 4 off of the table until I know what happens at 380. I could answer you and say, yeah, maybe, but I'm just guessing what happens at 380. Let's see if we get another retest of that. That's going to be more important.
I would say if we approach 380, watch what the volume's doing. If
Yep.
it's looking like crap, like there's nothing there, might not get through the 380 at all. If it's looking like volume is expanding and it's starting to take out some of these sellers, if it's starting to take out some of these sellers, I think that's your signal that we're breaking through 380 and going to 4.
All right, 13, we're out of time here. Really good stuff here today. Great calls, great movers. Just
Great
great
times.
all around on the penultimate day of the week.
Oh, yeah.
Any closing words for the group?
Another fun day with everybody here, and we seem to be on to something here with these movers and these Chinese names, and we're doing pretty good, folks. Let's keep this going. We'll be back here tomorrow. We'll find some more. We'll trade some more. We'll have a good time then, and then we'll send ourselves off into a wonderful weekend. So until then, folks, I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.
All right, 13, take care. We will see you tomorrow and on Happy Hour tonight. Folks, that's it for today. We'll be back at this again tomorrow. Have a great rest of your Thursday. Stay safe. Stay green. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care.